I'm playing through a 1967 Princeton Reverb amp. Put a new Jensen speaker in this. Right now, for the purposes here, I'm on volume, it's set at about 2.5. The treble is a little past 6. The bass is on 5. And the reverb is just slightly below 3. The 10-inch speaker that's in this can't take a whole lot of bass, whereas on my bigger rig I use 2 deluxe reverbs and I'll run my bass all the way up. So you always have to do, I like to get as much bass as possible without it getting just, really muddy sounding. So I tend to use my neck pickup for most of my sound, and if I really want to cut through and bring in more treble, I go to my lead pickup. But I set my amp sound and all of my sounds usually on my neck pickup. Okay, looking at my pedal board, and again this is my mini guitar rig, I have a love pedal that's underneath. It's a small pedal. It's a line drive. This allows my signal to stay nice and full. I don't lose any tone. I've got that underneath the pedal board. That's where I run my guitar, start my signal chain there, and from there I begin my effects chain. I go into my full tone wah-wah pedal. From here I go into my Eventide Pitchfactor, which is a harmonizer. There's a bunch of really cool stuff. From here I go into my overdrive section. If I'm playing with the band or at rehearsal, I have both of these on. If I'm playing a solo show, electric or acoustic, I'm only going to use one. If I were using my acoustic, it would probably be this first one, which is set at a lower gain. But in this example, because I'm on the electric, I'm using the second one. Now, I learned a long time ago that using 2 tube screamers, both of them turned on at the same time, I can get the distortion, the sustain that I'm looking for at a low volume. Because there's a sweet spot on an amp that you've got to push the amp hard enough to get your feedback, your sustain. By using 2 of these in line with each other, both of them turned on, I get plenty of sustain, plenty of feedback, anything that I need in a small rig or in a big rig. So let me tell you the settings that I have. The first one, I have the gain set at noon. The second one, I have the gain set at 3 o'clock. Both are at unity on the level and 10 a.m. on the tone. Okay? So again, this one is turned off in this example. The second one, which is a little bit hotter, I'm using with my electric guitar. So, from full tone to Eventide to my 2 tube screamers. From my 2 tube screamers, I'm going to go into my delay, which is an Eventide time factor. Both of these Eventide units are fabulous. I'm not going to go deep into these. I'll do that in another video. From here, I go to my volume pedal. My volume pedal, from here, I go to my looper, which is last, my looper to my amp. The reason I put the volume pedal after the delay is because if I have this turned on and I want to do a... See, when I turn my volume off, I can get that violin effect. I turn my volume off, but the signal continues after the delay. So I hit the delay, I turn my volume off, and the delay signal keeps going as long as this is after the volume pedal. Nice little trick. Some people get that same effect by using the volume and doing volume swells with their pinky. I guess I got a volume pedal too early in my development, and I just started doing it with my foot, and it's never felt comfortable to do it with my hand. Now, I want to focus a little bit on the looper. Now that you see how I've got my effects set up, how I've got my amp set up, the general sound that I have, this is going to be more of a tutorial on how to do a solo rig or how to just set up the ideal practice situation to get in and do some work during the week when you want to practice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a song that I wrote called I Went Down Easy. It's a blues song. And I'm going to use the Eventide Pitchfactor. I'm going to use the octave below to create like a bass sound. I'm going to play a bass line, record that as a loop, and then play over top of it. Like if I were on stage and going to perform this song. Notice I had to come right back in at the exact same place that I brought it in. So you're going to have to remember exactly where you kick this thing on. Now if I were playing live, the second I kicked this on, I'd start singing. I'd have to turn off my octave because I don't want that on. So I'd had to go a couple of bars with no guitar. So I went down easy, ain't going back down no more. I went down easy, ain't going back down no more. Okay, so I think you get the idea. I have my instrument level set at unity, which is straight up at 12 o'clock. The mic's turned down because obviously I'm not using a mic here. The rhythm track, if I wanted to pre-program any rhythm tracks in here, that's where I would control that volume. That's turned off because I'm not using that. And the loop level that I just recorded is set, actually it's just a little bit low. I was having just a little bit of trouble hearing that. I usually set that around 11 o'clock, and then I work my volume either with my foot or with my guitar, so the level that I'm getting isn't too loud when it's played back. I do cut just a little bit of that off by, instead of having it at unity, bringing it down to 11 o'clock. But that allows me to play about full tilt, so when it comes back it's about right, but some songs require a little bit more nuance. So that was a version of Hey Joe. If I found that I really wanted to get heavier as that song goes on, I could always, when this is on, instead of playing lead, I'm going to play a rhythm over top. Now the two are layered. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight to some ways that a looper can be used. Great, great, great tool. So this is a wonderful thing to use as a click, to keep yourself honest, and to be able just to use as a writing tool. I love having this in the pedal board, and I'm starting to have a whole lot of fun doing solo shows. Whenever I would do solo shows before without a looper, I always felt kind of naked not being able to play lead, or if I played lead, there was nothing underneath me to play to it. So it wasn't as much fun, and this solves that problem. Okay, so there's the setup, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be doing more examples. All right.